Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Coach Jose from Jose Johnson's Chinese Martial Arts and Wellness Center. So I'm here today to talk with you about focus and some tips to help you to improve your focus, whether it's for you personally, for your child, for someone you care about. So I'm going to I'm going to touch on one, but this is going to be part of a series that I'm going to cover these 5 basic tips to improve your focus. So let me just start with this. That as a martial arts instructor, a lot of people come to me, either personally or for their child, because they have problems with focus, and they may not think the problems with focus. I mean, obviously, if your child's having problems focusing in school, right, following instructions, things like that, that is very much a focus problem. But some of the other problems that we see are related to focus. Things like discipline. Right? A lot of times, discipline is basically because of an inability to properly focus. And even in adults, we see a lot of times problems with stress when they come to martial arts, particularly like things like Tai Chi for stress reduction. It's because the brain is not properly focusing on the right things. Right, you're getting stuck focusing on the negative aspects of life as opposed to the positive. So a lot of problems can be solved by dealing with issues with focus. So let's start with just this very, very simple tip, okay? And it's going to be about going small, right? So starting small to grow big. So, a lot of times people say they can't focus, right? Well, it's not true. Not completely, at least. I see our brains are designed to think, to observe, to process information. And at any moment in time, you have thousands of things going on in your mind. But the thing is that your brain can only really think about one thing at a time, right? So it takes all of this information, all this data that's going on, and then it spotlights one thing. It basically focuses on one thing. It brings it to the forefront. So you see, the problem is that it's not that you can't focus, right? It's that you can't sustain focus. That's where the problem is. So it's not an ability issue, it's an endurance issue. Okay? And endurance is really simple to fix, right? It just takes time, it takes repetition, it takes consistency, and it takes some common sense in how you train. So here's a good example. Just the other day, we did a mannequin challenge video in my Kung Fu class. And for those of you who don't know what a mannequin challenge video is, it's this viral thing that's going on right now where you take a video of a bunch of different people just kind of frozen in these odd postures, usually with music blaring in the background. So we decided to do this in class. And I knew that everybody was going to have to hold this pose for about 26 seconds because I picked the music that they were going to do it to, and I knew exactly where I wanted it to happen. And so I figured, okay, we've got to do about 26 seconds. So how are we going to do this? And 26 seconds may not sound like too much to you, but when you have a room full of kids, 26 seconds can be a long time. So what we did is we practiced for the video. Right, so I helped to prepare everybody for doing this shot. So what we did is I said, okay, right, pick a posture, all right, and we're going to hold it, and we're going to hold it for a count of 5. And so everybody hit the posture. Boom, everybody hits the posture. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, everybody, cool. Everybody move around. Okay, great. Now we're going to do it again. And this time we're going to do it for 10. And then the next time we're going to do it for 15. And then we did it for 20. Then we did the shot. So we did 26 seconds. And they nailed it. It was fantastic. Okay? And I got everybody together afterwards and I said, hey guys, what you've just done is you've proved to yourself and also your coaches and your parents that you have the ability to be still and focused. All right? You can do it. You just needed to decide to do it. Right? You needed to have that job to do it. And they did it. So it was really great. And so what happened was I gave them small steps to give them these little victories. And that was able to work as a springboard to get them towards our ultimate goal. Right? So you may be thinking, how does this apply to your particular situation for trying to improve focus? Well, we basically use the same strategy. And it's a variation of a time management strategy that's called the Pomodoro technique. Right? It came out of a timer that looked like a tomato. Right? But the Pomodoro technique is a little more complex in its application, but we can really make it simple. Right? So here's an example. Right? So let's say your child is having trouble in school, right? Having trouble studying, right? They just can't focus. Right? The worst thing you can do is try to make them sit down and you're going to study for an hour. It's not going to work. Okay? So you start small. So like with the Pomodoro technique, you want to grab a timer. Right? So you can use a timer on your stopwatch, you can use a kitchen timer, right? Whatever you want to do. But you want to have a timer. And you want to help to establish a baseline of how long can they actually focus. I don't mean kind of focus. How long can they be fully engaged in their study, their activity? All right. 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, whatever it is. You figure out what that time frame is, and you have them work in that time frame. You time it, right? And so let's say that they can work for 5 minutes. Okay, they work really hard for 5 minutes. In the 5 minutes, okay, let's take a short break, right? And that short break should be, no more than 2-3 minutes. Right? Up to 5 minutes if they're really studying for a long time. Right? But the beginning stage is just a couple minutes. And during that couple of minutes, let them get up, go to the bathroom, get a drink of water, get some fresh air, right? Move around, do some things. Just avoid doing things like sitting down and watching TV or playing a video game or texting or anything like that. Right? So it's important that they're doing something that has some movement. And we're going to talk about that in one of our upcoming videos, why that's really, really important. Right? So you let them move around, take that little break, boom, get back to work. Okay? And then you try to work a little bit longer. So if they did 5 minutes the first time, try to go for 6 or 7 minutes. Right? If they only did a minute and 30 seconds. Now, a minute and 30 seconds may not sound like much, but if they did a minute and they did a minute 30, then you've got a 50% increase. Right? If they did 2 minutes, that's a 100% increase. And let's think about it. I mean, if someone could promise you that you could get an improvement of 100%, if you could double your effectiveness in just one sitting, you probably do it, right? So attention and focus is no different, right? So we just want to work on making that improvement. Okay, so all we do is we just, work, break, work, break. And when you're working, you just need to stay 100% focused. And that's all there is to it. It's really quite simple. And, it doesn't seem like much, but it really works. And this is not just a martial arts strategy. The first time I actually heard about this, I learned about this strategy from a really highly respected trumpet player and educator. And he was talking about the fallacies that we have about practice, and how people say, oh man, I practiced for 6 hours in the studio today. Okay, well, out of that 6 hours, how much time were you really focused at your task? For most people, probably no more than 10, 15 minutes. If you're really really good, maybe you're able to focus for 45 minutes or an hour, but most people can't go much further than that. So the concept was, hey, don't try to go for this long duration in one sitting. Break it up. So if you can only stay 100% engaged for 5 minutes, you practice for 5 minutes. When your mind starts to wander, you get up, have a cup of coffee, walk around, do something, come back, practice again. And so instead of trying to do 1 hour at a sitting, maybe you do 6 sessions of 10 minutes each throughout the day. And the amazing thing is that people who utilize this practice approach actually get better results than people who do the marathon practice sessions. And the reason is that they are getting 100% effort. The focus is 100% there. Right, so this is a great technique because not only does it help to strengthen our focus muscles, right, by doing these 100% focus blast, but also it gives us better results because as our attention fades, so do our results. Okay, so it's really that simple. Right? You can just start out with doing small chunks and just incrementally and consistently trying to expand on those chunks. Right? So this approach is so simple, but it takes time and it takes patience. And you have to be realistic. right? And you have to be really consistent with it. It's about gaining those small victories and building the endurance of your focus muscles. Right? And you don't have to worry about reaching marathon level of focus, right? So you're not going to immediately be able to go from zero focus to 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour, 4 hour intense focus, right? It's step by step. But you use your smaller chunks of time to keep your focus in focus, and then you reset and you hit it again, and you hit it again. And that's it. And then what starts to happen is that the duration will increase of each focus section, and then you're going to be able to take those chunks and put them together, and then this is going to create this really nice, consistent flow of energy and intention. Okay, so I hope that this helps you out, and give me some comments, and give me some likes and some love, and I hope that you'll come back next week, because I'm going to do this every Tuesday at this time. I've got 4 more tips to go through, and we're going to do these other ideas on how you can improve your focus. All right, so thanks a lot, everybody. Hope everybody voted. Have a great one. We'll see you.